Hey guys, Stay Patient here with what is essentially part 2 of the easiest free PS4 Platinums. This is a series I started a couple of months ago where we take a look at all the instant game collection games that are free for PS Plus members. Now, this is also going to be part of the 2016 Trophy Awards, and that's how it's going to continue from now on with this series at least. What we're going to be doing is one video at the end of each year looking back at the previous 12 months worth of free games. But don't worry, if you want to stay up to date on a more regular basis, I am going to start putting out a video every single month looking at the next month's free games as soon as they're announced. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up with that. Now I have one quick bit of advice for you regarding free games before we start the list. Now, over the last few years, there have been multiple occasions where I've recommended a game to someone and it's a game that was free on PlayStation Plus, but they've come back and said that they didn't download it because it didn't look like their kind of thing. And quite often they'll go ahead and buy that game off the back of my recommendation and really love it. So the moral of the story is you never know which games you're going to enjoy until you try them. So it's worth grabbing everything that's free each month. You can even do so for consoles you don't own. If you go onto the PlayStation Store website, you can add games to your library even if you don't own the related console. So if you don't have a Vita, for instance, you could go on every month, add all those games, all the Vita games to your collection, and then if you ever do get a Vita, you'll have a huge collection of content to go back and play. And the great thing is nowadays you don't even need to download the game for it to be added to your collection. You can click on the Add to Library button on the PS4, then you can download it at a later date as long as your PlayStation Plus membership is still active. Now there was one game that somehow I forgot to mention during the last video, and that was Rocket League. I had it in my script to talk about and for some reason it must have got deleted somewhere down the line, but Rocket League is a super easy platinum. It was free, I think back in 2015, and it's really fun as well. You can play it with friends, have a lot of fun, pop most of the trophies naturally, and then if you want to boost any that you have left, you can even boost on your own. You can play against AI and turn it to 0 AI on the other team, so it's literally just you on the pitch, and then you can work on whatever trophies you need to get done. It's super easy, and it should now only take you probably less than 10 hours because some of the DLC makes some of the trophies from the platinum even quicker. So it's a nice quick, easy, free platinum that's a lot of fun. Now let's move on to the 2016 list now. That's what we're here to talk about. I have 11 platinums for you. I've also thrown in 2 non-platinum games. They're not part of the official list, but I just mentioned them on the way through because I thought it was worthwhile doing so. So let's dive into the easiest free platinums from 2016. In January 2016, we were given Hardware Rivals for free immediately upon its launch. This is an always online vehicle combat game, and so will only remain an easy, or should I say obtainable platinum for as long as the servers are kept running. I don't see them being closed down for a long time yet, but in case you're watching this video years from now, it's something to bear in mind. The average trophy difficulty rating is a 3 out of 10. They're straightforward whether you choose to boost or earn them legit. They have, however, removed the ability to earn trophies in private matches, meaning boosting, while still possible, is now a little more difficult as you need to do so in public matches with random players thrown into the mix. Almost all the trophies are straightforward and easy to earn through natural gameplay though, with very few that actually require any level of skill. The platinum has actually only been earned by less than 5% of players on psnprofiles.com, but that's down to it being free and thus having been played by a lot of people, many of whom didn't bother sticking around long enough to complete its one rather grindy trophy that involves getting 1,000 kills. So if you'd like to add an ultra rare plat to your collection, this is an easy option for doing so. That 1,000 kills trophy is what gives it roughly a 20-hour plus time requirement, and it's worth mentioning that the game itself can be unreliable when it comes to tracking your stats and popping trophies at the right time. None are outright glitched thankfully, but having to earn a trophy a second time or only having a few of your kills from each match count when you need to reach 1,000 is understandably frustrating. January was a good month for trophy hunters as we also saw Grim Fandango join the instant game collection. This is another remaster of one of Tim Schafer's bizarre creations, filled with obscure puzzles that are actually rather tough to figure out if you're going without a guide. As with all point-and-click adventures though, following a walkthrough makes it a piece of cake, leading to an average difficulty rating of a 2 out of 10 as would be expected, and that's including votes from people who didn't want to utilise a guide. It's really a 1 out of 10 if you're happy following one. This game is, however, a touch longer than some of the recent super quick adventure titles. It has been finished by a fair few people in less than 5 hours, but it will likely take the average gamer closer to 10. If you want to be sure to grab each one of its many missable trophies in a single playthrough, then check out the resources linked in the description. In April, the PS4 version of the Wii U game ZOMBI U was gifted to us with the title changed to simply Zombie. This isn't as straightforward as a lot of the easy platinums we often discuss on this channel, but the vast majority of trophy hunters on the PlayStationTrophies.org voting thread have branded it a 3 or 4 out of 10 when it comes to difficulty, meaning it's very much doable for the average gamer. It will probably take you at least around 20 hours though, with that time being spread across 3 playthroughs, the hardest of which is a permadeath run. You are able to copy your save across to the cloud or an external storage device during that run though, meaning if you do die you won't be required to start over, you can just download your save and continue from where you left off. This is another ultra rare platinum according to the stats on psnprofiles.com, thanks to it having only been earned by less than 5% of players on the popular trophy tracking site. Don't let that put you off though, so many people play the free PS Plus games that their completion percentages are often very low, so this is another great option if you'd like to add a rare platinum to your collection. May was another productive month for Plus members with 2 relatively easy platinums on offer. First up was Tropico 5, the only game so far from the political construction and management sim series to make its way to a PlayStation console. The one thing that put me off initially was the relatively high price of the DLC, which thankfully has been on sale over the holiday period. The installment is a little more structured than previous titles in the series, with it now being split into 16 separate missions. However, the state you leave your island in at the end of a level carries over to the start of the next one, so although the average difficulty rating is a 3 out of 10 for the game and both DLCs, some find it tougher due to focusing on each mission individually without realising that it's advantageous to keep your island in a good condition all through the game. The platinum itself should take somewhere around 25 hours and does include some online trophies that you can boost with a friend if you wish. The DLC packs don't have any online trophies thankfully, but they do take a bit of time, with the trophy guide author estimating around 8 hours each for both of the add-ons. The other free game during May was one of the potentially more challenging titles on this list. Tabletop Racing World Tour is exactly what it sounds like and has a lot in common with the Micro Machines games and toys. It does not, however, use a top-down perspective as you may imagine. It utilises normal racing game camera angles. The majority of people on the difficulty voting thread have gone with a 3 or 4 out of 10, but there are also plenty of people giving it a much higher rating. So I'd recommend taking your own racing game experience and skill into account and maybe doing a bit of your own research before diving into this one, especially as there are a few DLC trophies that could present a bit of a challenge to some as well. It seems the trophy guide contains a couple of useful tips for alleviating much of the difficulty that some seem to experience, so be sure to check it out via the link below. Thankfully, none of that difficulty is related to any of the online trophies. All you need to do for them is win 20 online races, which you can boost in a private game with just one other person. As long as you can manage everything that's required for the platinum, it should take around 10 to 15 hours to earn, but be warned that the single DLC pack that's been added so far will take you about the same length of time, so factor that in if you're going for the full 100%. August presented us with Rebel Galaxy, the longest platinum on this list at over 50 hours completion time. However, sheer curiosity may make you want to try it out when you hear that it was independently developed and published by a 2-man team known as Double Damage Games. Don't be fooled though, these are no noobs when it comes to game development. In fact, one of them co-founded Blizzard North and brought us the Diablo series, and while working together at Runic Games they gave birth to the Torchlight franchise. So it's not surprising that Rebel Galaxy reviewed reasonably well considering it's the first game from such a small new studio. This Western-style space combat and trading sim has an aggregate score of 75% on PC, but unfortunately only 65 on PS4. It's only a 2 out of 10 when it comes to difficulty though, and has no online trophies, so if you're looking for a nice free game that's going to keep you entertained for a decent length of time and eventually result in a near guaranteed platinum, then this could be the answer to your prayers. Despite not having a platinum, Journey, which was free in September, is worth a quick mention due not only to being nice and easy, but also being an unforgettable and wonderfully relaxing work of art. And with relaxation in mind, during recent years, the developers at the Chinese Room have been at the forefront in pioneering a brand new genre. Originally, the term walking sim was used in a derogatory way by those that clearly didn't appreciate the simple elegance of this emerging new style. Those behind such games went on to proudly and ironically adopt this new walking sim tagline to describe their art to the world and to send a playful message to all those haters after the success their releases had experienced. One of those releases was Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which was free during November. It is admittedly slow moving and takes more than 10 hours to platinum simply as a result of the movement speed, but it's a super easy 2 out of 10 difficulty, and if you're in the right mood it can be really nice and relaxing as well as a joy to look at with literally some of the best graphics on PS4. And there's a subtle but profoundly thought-provoking narrative here that will stick with you if you open yourself up to all its layers. November was probably last year's best month for easy free platinums, as we also got hold of Deadly Tower of Monsters, one of the games that had already been featured during my ongoing easiest and fastest platinum series earlier in the year. And you'll be pleased to hear that out of all the super quick trophy sets on those lists, Deadly Tower was one of the most enjoyable and highly rated. This humorous and fun top-down twin-stick shooter is the fastest platinum on this list at a mere 5 hours, give or take, and I've yet to hear anyone claim to have had any issues earning the platinum. The community seems to unanimously agree on it being a 2 out of 10 when it comes to difficulty, so you can very much assume you'll breeze through it no matter what level of experience you have with the genre. Color Guardians, the first of December's free games to show up on this list, is an interesting premise that some may find a bit more challenging than the majority of games on this list, especially if, like me, you're colorblind. The difficulty rating thread on PlayStationTrophies.org has votes all up and down the scale, but 4 out of 10 is the most popular opinion and probably the overall average, if I could be bothered calculating it. I almost didn't include it in the final list due to the difficulty some people have in earning one of the trophies in particular, but I've had several of you guys leave comments highlighting it as an easy platinum, so I thought I'd pop it in, making sure to cover all bases. You'll need to focus while working your way through this one, as it's all about reaction speeds, although a glitch has been found to alleviate much of the difficulty involved in earning the You Shall Not Pass trophy, the rarest one in the game. Don't get the wrong impression though, I use the term difficulty very lightly here. Despite so many people playing Color Guardians thanks to its place in the instant game collection, the platinum still has a very high completion percentage of almost 30% on psnprofiles.com, and it should only take you around 6 to 10 hours, maybe slightly more depending on your skill level. December's other PS4 freebie occupies the final place on our list. Stories: The Path of Destinies is a top-down action RPG that basically involves running through the same level over and over again. The story itself, along with the enemies you face, change as you level up and make different choices during each run-through, and those choices will allow you to eventually see all the game's 25 endings. Despite its slightly repetitive nature, it received a fairly positive response from the majority of the gaming community and reviewers alike, with Metacritic calculating a respectable average of around 75%. So if you enjoy RPGs and don't mind a bit of grinding and repetition, this could be the game for you, especially as it's been given an average difficulty rating of just 2 out of 10 and will only take you around 20 hours to complete. Not long at all for an RPG that requires 25 playthroughs. So there you have it guys, a nice varied list of games to get your teeth stuck into and hopefully ones that you all already own. 2017 has got off to a great start for trophy hunters because we have Day of the Tentacle available to download for free during January, so make sure to grab that before January ends because it's a nice easy quick platinum. It'll take you around 2 hours to complete, and I have a trophy guide that I'm going to link at the end of this video, a nice easy to follow video guide that's receiving a lot of love and has shot up to the top of the search results on YouTube, which is really great, and I want to thank you guys for that. Remember to stay tuned every single month for a review of the upcoming free games, as well as hopefully a nice lot of trophy guides for some of those games as the year continues. So I want to say thank you very much guys for watching, thanks for all your continued support on the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.